I know communism has always been around, but it seems like it has really tried to reach its tentacles into our government over the last 20 years. And it seems like we've got people in our government, if they had their way, Mark, democracy and capitalism would be eradicated from America's landscape.
Yeah. The socialism thing this is why it's so bad to even send your kid to a college right now, because they're not teaching our kids, they're indoctrinating our kids. You're seeing even in elementary school. You're seeing headlines of what they're teaching these kids. You're better to homeschool your kids right now at this point until these colleges get cleaned out. To send your kid to a college, man, you're really rolling a dice right now at this point, because it's all about the socialism. It's all about indoctrinating your kid into a different religion, or whatever the case may be. But this stuff's going to get cleaned out. I think Lance Wallnau put it really elegantly when he said that most of your professors that are in college right now were the 60s hippies back in the 60s.
That's true.
Those are your professors right now. That's what's teaching your kids right now, or indoctrinating your kids. I've known some good kids that have gone into college, and man, they have just come out and done a 180, man. It's just, there's a spirit of something over these colleges that's just, again, it's like we were talking about earlier. It's grabbing that next generation, trying to keep them from moving forward. The security clearance thing, that is more along the lines that there is a plan in place. Now, I will say this. I know that they've been allowed to keep their security clearance for a reason. And it's because they even came out with a document, because they've been sending documents out to these people, finding out where the leaks are at for the last, year and a half, whatever it was. Right. People are going to find out that this is the biggest reverse intelligence op, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? It is just mind-numbingly incredible operation that they're doing right now. They had actually showed a piece of paper that all they did was just change the date from September 14th to September 4th. Sent it down the line, and they tracked this piece of paper. Who did it go to, where it was, and they find out what media organizations it went out. All this stuff. So when you're talking, if they arrested just 6 people, Comey, Brennan, the 6, Strzok, all these people right here, the top 6 that have been up there right now.
Right.
How many people would it take with them? See, that's what people are forgetting.
That's right.
Let's say they just make 6 arrests. Well, if they've been tracking their movements of all their documentation, their texts, their emails, all this stuff, the paperwork, and the leaks, how many people are that's going to take down with them? 10,000? I have no clue. It could be, the numbers could be staggering. So this is why I tell people, the security clearance have been left in place for a reason. It's because, and they have it all. They've got it all. Don't worry about it. There's nothing that's missing. The news media may tell you it's missing, and that's why I tell people, stay off the mainstream media. Stop listening to Satan's frequency. Go to Donald Trump's Twitter feed or his Facebook page. You're getting the truth straight from the source right there.
Absolutely, Mark. Let me ask you a couple more questions. The situation that happened to him this past week with, and I don't want to get into the tawdry details, but again, this goes back to why we need to pray for the president. Got betrayed by this Omarosa character, this apprentice lady, and she just, according to him, well, not according to him, she's actually released the tapes of her recorded conversations with General Kelly, who I thought actually handled it very professionally. I found it funny that the mainstream media played that tape like 100 times the first weekend they got it. And most people out here in America, Mark, was listening to it, said, it didn't sound a lot of crazy stuff to me. He was just telling her, look, we're trying to let you go, and you want to be professional about it, be professional. If you don't, you don't. But we're trying to handle this professionally. He was the adult in the room. But the bigger arching issue about that is this. Where do you see the president's greatest enemies within his administration coming from? Where is his greatest attacks, do you feel in your spirit, that he needs to look out for? Because I don't think that caught him blindsided, but that was probably one of his few mistakes in hiring people. She should have never been in that place where she was at, and it turned out to be a disaster. But I know that there's others probably within his inner circle right now that he's got to be wondering, can I trust these people? And that's a big issue right now.
Well, you have to ask yourself, the president's very smart.
Yes.
He has some very intelligent, highly intelligent people around him. Was she hired by the president? If she was hired by the president, there was a reason why.
Right.
So obviously she has ties to something that they're trying to find out. What was she in contact with? Who was she in contact with?
Great point.
So this might have been a reverse op because they knew this lady was trouble. Yeah, bring her in here. Let's hire her. Let's see where it goes.
Interesting.
Boom. There it is. So this is where people get up in arms about this stuff. It's like I tell people, you've got to take a step back, take a deep breath, because you don't understand the magnitude of this. Again, I think it's a setup. I think they brought her in there to find out who was who, what she knew, where she was going to who. History of man. You are the World War or the New World Order rose in World War I. They got beaten back. They rose again in World War II. They got beaten back. They have risen again. Guess what? They're going to lose, and they're going to lose big time this time, because I got a feeling that God's going to gut them this time, and it's going to be a long time before they come back.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to run something by you. We've got colleagues of mine and people that know more about this stuff than I do. I'm just sort of a humble podcaster, broadcaster, journalist guy, and I just sit back and, like you do, a little time just listen and watch.
Right.
A lot of people have been up in arms about Jeff Sessions, the slow walking that he's been doing with this investigation on Russia, Mark. But I'm going to be honest with you, there's a train of thought out there, and every day that goes by, I begin to believe it more and more, that Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump's coordinating this whole thing together, that he's slow walking this, because in actuality, what may look like President Trump being upset with his attorney general may be theater to throw the Democrats and throw the left their scent off of the fact that he's actually investigating the very deep state that they think that he's protecting. That deep down underneath all this stuff that's going on with the Russia thing, they're investigating the very people that are out there screaming the loudest, Schiff, McCain, all these people that are trying to claim Trump colluded with the Russians. Well, they're being investigated themselves, and that's going to be what's going to be revealed in a lot of these indictments. And because I can't believe that him and Sessions don't talk every night. I can't believe that they don't talk every day. And I will defend the Attorney General. He's been the strongest Attorney General we've ever had on the border. He upholds the rule of law unlike any Attorney General we've ever had. I think he's done a great job doing that. He's been hard on these sex trafficking rings we've been talking about. I saw a figure the other day. There was only like 1,080 arrests in 8 years of Obama for sex trafficking and child trafficking. In the 18 months that Trump's been in office, it's been like 3,900. It's tripled. It's literally tripled from 8 years of Obama to 18 months of Trump. That has to be a Department of Justice issue. They've been strong on that. It's hard for me to believe that President Trump looks at all this and then he turns to his Attorney General and says, I hate you, and he's the worst Attorney General ever on Twitter, when it's probably just a plan. And like you said, a scheme to get the scent off. Because one thing about it, Mark, when all this comes out to be the scam and the sham that we know it's going to be revealed to be, the Democrats and the left can't say that Bob Mueller's team was packed with Republicans. They're all packed with Democrats. And they can't say Jeff Sessions was coordinating a conspiracy to free Trump, because every day in the media, Trump trashes Sessions about it. So I think it's brilliant myself.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if you follow Q or not. I don't know, some of your listeners, Q talks about it all the time. Trust Sessions, trust the plan. Q has been proven correct over and over and over again. There's a lot of people out there to say, oh, well, it's not truth, or it's this, that, and the other. Well, why has no mainstream media journalist ever asked the press secretary or the president in a press conference, who is Q?
Great question, Mark.
Why have they never done it? Because they know it's legit and they're scared stiff. And so right now, Q even told us this was coming. The big attack on Q, trying to make it out to be a conspiracy, he said it was coming months ago. He warned it. It's coming. And sure enough, here it is. Now it's gone mainstream. Q's got more followers now probably than ever before, and they're trying to discredit Q. Now, we don't know who Q is. It could be some people thought it was the president. Some people thought it could have been General Flynn. They now think it's a team of people. Military intelligence, right. It could be a team of people, whatever. But the point being is that if people would follow Q, it would probably ease some of your frustrations, because you will get inside intel as to what's going on behind the scenes that you're not getting in the mainstream media, which you're not supposed to be listening to anyway.
Right. I'm glad you brought up Q, and I know our audience, and our audience, there's some in our audience that believe Q. There's some that don't. We had a program on Friday night about this. At the day of this taping, we've got a discussion coming that it's like the Q haters is what I'll call them. They're trying to divide the MAGA movement because they're trying to get us off track about being unified, Mark. And you've got, again, half the MAGA people saying, well, we can't trust the thing Q says. He's a farce. Nobody believes Q. You got the hardcore Q people. And I wouldn't call myself hardcore, but I believe the message. I believe the post. I don't care. I'm like you. It don't matter to me who it is. If it's the Easter Bunny doing it or a group of people or a woman, man, I don't care. But it's the message. And we get all caught up about who, and we need to realize it's not who, but it's what. What's he saying? Or what is this thing saying? Right. And that's important because, as you made a great point, the media has never brought it up in a press conference.
Ever.
They've mocked it a little bit. A few Twitter feeds and a few websites, rogue websites, has mocked you. But I tell you what, you ain't heard anything out of the mainstream media, have you? Because
they've been mocking him. They've been trashing him, which Q said was coming.
Right.
But I challenge any mainstream media journalist to ask the press secretary or the president, who's Q? That's simple.
Wow.
Just ask, but they won't do it.
Do you sense when this may take place, you think it's going to be before or after the midterms that we're going to start really seeing some major developments and movement on this stuff?
I think it's, again, I don't know. I don't want to prophesy because every time I say something, somebody says, you prophesied this? No, I didn't. I just gave you my opinion. So it's just like, I can't win for losing, man. It's like I'm human too, So I think the big stuff like the Clintons and Barack Obama, that's going to happen. It could happen after the elections. I don't think they will do it before because it would disrupt the electoral process. It wouldn't even be safe to go to some of these cities and to a
that's true. That's
voting booth. You know what I mean? I think that's going to happen afterwards. I think you're going to see it come in waves. He could. I mean, I don't know. He could declare martial law. Maybe not. Maybe if the riots start, he declares martial law. In which case, now military assets are in place. They go in and start rounding them up. So I don't know. Just people need to be prepared for when it's not if, it's when this takes place. So I mean, just be praying about it.